We're live, hello. Welcome to round 3 here in Tier 2. As you can see, it's beautiful conditions for the third round. Torrential rain, that's going all the way through into the race as well. So should be a very interesting watch. With is this the first bit of rain we've had this season? I think it is.
Yeah.
Tier 1 later on's got a sprinkling across the sprint, but main race is all looking dry. But here, all rain. So we've got a dry stint just at the very start of the a drier stint just at the start of the actual race just ahead of us here, but then it will commence into full wets later on, so it's more going to go from inters into a wet race, so that should be another interesting thing of when the crossover happens or what tyres people even start on. But got several cars on a lap already. We've been watching Turbo Snells, I've been saying that, and he's had a couple of adventures, so I don't know what lap this is going to be. Maybe more of a banker because he's got lots of his
hot the gravel at turn 4, so
yeah, I'm assuming. I think based on his hot lap situation with ERS usage, I think he maybe pulled out and just kind of tried to finish his lap and then go and do 2 runs back to back. So let's see what he does this run as well. Do you know what? Let's stay on board with him and see. Just look at his delta times to see how much he's improving. Yeah, already up in sector 1.
I mean, it's another one as well, these times. It's nice getting early time on the board, especially somewhere like Austria where you can easily run wide and validate it. But really, they don't mean anything until you get last few minutes of quali. So.
Yeah, for anyone unaware of the situation. So it's meant to be full wet, but with this game, being in its typical fashion, it will dry up towards the end. Not completely, but it will get drier than it is currently, so even though it stays full wet, the track will naturally create a dry line, so it will mean that we probably see a more definitive switch to inters, which means that the times may even be 2 seconds or so quicker than they are now, so that's something to bear in mind on the current times, like we said. Turbo comes around again. He's gone up on this time, so I imagine he's going to get more up in the mix, closer to Cookborough's time. He's provisional pole, and he's no longer, as that goes back to Turbo Snow then, on his sucker run on the wet tyres. Got Ferrari crossing the line as well. That's Brad is just starting his lap. We've got Haas coming around. Who's that? Just finished. Snooze just started his time. Quinton then just finishing his second run as well. Lots of people going for the double runs so far. As Quinton then goes up to 3rd place, just above K1. He's already out in the inter, so yeah, currently the track...
Just boxing now. K1 as well.
I was going to say, the track is not ready for inters right now. It'll at least start off being full wets. Whether it stays like that, obviously it will not. We can already kind of make that inference, but realistically, the inters will be the best tyre to be on at the end, unless someone can just pull it out of the hat somehow on the wets. But
he's not the only one either. Lucas out on inters, Addy is, Ingram, it's Mawson. There's a lot of them
as well.
Set them on. Yeah, Camber further down. I say further down, it's just on the BB on set times, yeah.
I mean, maybe people's idea on that is just to keep the inters on and not have to get used to a new tyre, but I mean, it's different conditions.
Yeah.
Alex in the chat said, who's our pole prediction? I mean, we just talked about this before. I think there's going to be a couple of people up in the running. I think K1 always looks good in the rain. Who was with K1 in that race? That was Mighty Boo, isn't it? Obviously, Mighty Boo's not here.
Yeah, Mighty Boo's, yeah. He would have gone up probably in free to race. But...
I think you've got a couple of people. I think it's going to be the usual kind of top dogs. I think, honestly, it could be anyone's game. Turbo's looking good. Troy's looking good. Snooze claiming to be Rapido in the wet as well. Cookborough's always good. Cancelo as well.
We've yet to, I was going to say, we've yet to really see him in the wet this game. In terms of, we only saw him in Tier 1 last season, when, I feel like now he's come down, he's sort of a bit more prepared for this season. And it's interesting what he can do about Christopher takes the division as well.
Bradis just is in the chat as well, so he obviously raced, he reserved for Aston with Turbo back in Mexico, and that was wet, and he did very well, so...
But they had a bit of a scrap between themselves.
Yeah,
so I remember that.
So, I mean, yes, another driver that could throw his name in the hat, so hopefully we got 6-7 cars that could be in that scrap for the top spot going into the race. As Sneed bails out of his... I think he's charging up to go again, actually. Got a kick behind this as well. Who's that? That's Lippy just starting a run as well. Got an Aston further back. Laurie, who's invalidated his run. And a V-carb, which will be a Harshman.
Harshman, yeah, he's not on the lap yet. It's just an out lap.
First time we properly seen him, actually. Obviously, wasn't around for round 2. Had wheel issues in round 1, so fingers crossed we can see the true Harshman today and actually see what he's capable of putting together in this Tier 2 grid. Obviously a bit of a unrepresentative time to show what you can do considering the conditions, but still a good test to see where he slots in wet conditions as well. Up the hilly sector where it said he's purple in sector 1, but I think that's just a glitch.
Set a lap as well. But yeah, jumps up to P3, so second and third for the Red Bulls.
Constella as well saying that he's not really put many laps of practice in, or if any, so that should be an interesting watch to see where he actually slots in with his state of practice, whether he's capable of, you know, chucking it there or thereabouts. Tibber improves his time, then goes up to 13.5, retakes that top spot over Mr. Kookaburra.
Wonder that'd be his last time on the wet tyres now. I think we're beginning to get to the point now where we'll see a lot of drivers heading into the pit still on the wet and getting ready to start runs in the Inter. Yeah,
crossover, like you said, is usually around the 9.5 minute, 10 minute mark, so it's at the point now where if someone does chuck on Inters, they will be benefiting a bit more with in terms of grip.
Harsh had a few moments around the last couple of corners, but we'll see what he sets and slots in at 11.
Yeah, solid middle ground. Very, very close with Nitro, so just 2 milliseconds off him. Nitro himself's actually on a run and improving. He's up half a second currently. And this run, a bit skatey through the left-right in sector 3 though, so whether he's lost a bit of time there, we'll have to wait and see. Currently sat just behind his teammate who's still on the Inters, K1, coming out again to get involved in those green wall tired laps as well. But to the line then, Nitro goes.
Just jumped up.
Oof, Nitro finds half a second then, yeah, finds 14.7. Ali, yeah, like you said, up to 14.3 on those Inters. He's 4 laps rid of his Inters, so I guess he just hasn't came off his Inters, he's just stayed on those the whole session so far. What else have we got closing on a lap? Well, I think a lot of people are starting laps now as Snoo has a massive moment on the throttle, come around the final corner with just as he's starting a lap. That's heavily going to compromise his run down to turn 1 at least. Still on the wets as well, lots of people still on track on the wets. I mean, you could necessarily go for Inters. I mean, at this point though, they may be saving their tyres knowing that they've got a full wet race ahead of them, because I know that allocation sometimes screws you, doesn't it, in terms of which tyres you actually want to use and how much you get. I remember, was it in the China race? It was really dodgy in terms of like, you had
you get 2 wets, don't you? So it's whatever you do, if you run wets twice, whatever you're doing on these tyres now, you're going to end up on them. But
yeah,
I don't know if not we will necessarily see wet tyres in the race. Of course, you know, the race sets get heavier, but I was saying with how this game is, I don't know whether or not that's enough to force people onto the wet tyres or not.
Yeah, I think it depends, because yeah, obviously we're going to be starting on Inters at least, and then it all just depends on you know, the extent of the rain when it comes and delays. If there's a couple of safety cars, you'd expect the rain to then get dramatically worse to the point that you do need the wets, but we'll have to wait and see. But then Snoo then to the line then, what can you do on his second run or third run, I think it was, on the wets, and he puts up to third then, just above his reserve teammate. But K1 though surpasses all of them. First man in the 12s, 12.8 on the Inters. So yeah, the Inters proving at that point then that the Inters are the quicker tyre.
It's very early on as well, still the track just to keep drying up.
Yeah, so 12.8 already is a very solid time for K1. I think a lot of people were already looking at something in the 12s being a bit worrisome, so K1 already being in the 12s is quite foreboding for some. Considering when I know people like Zlipi and Camper are kind of still getting their laps together, but they're still down in the 16s. So the fact that K1's in the 12s, I mean, that's a massive field spread.
Chocolate's coming up to the last 2 corners yet, so, oh, actually he's just slowing down, so he's back out of this lap then. I don't know what's going on with it.
Yeah, Turbo's coming to the pits as well, so I imagine that's Inters on for him. So we got flicking around. Mawson then puts it P5 as well. On a new set of wets. So still 5 minutes left. That's the one interesting thing as well, is it's seeing if people know what to do in terms of the crossover period, because obviously, you know, the weather that we publish within the league obviously tells them full wets, but it's whether people are aware of the way that the game mechanics works and actually dries up. Because I know some people have been caught out in the past with that.
Yeah, I think people who have been in the league before would have certainly seen it now, but it's just how much some of our newer people here have had experience of driving in the wet. Like you say, Mawson's one of those who's still out in the wet at the moment.
Right, Laurie's just bagged it in well, I was going to say P8, but he's just been surpassed as well. Who was that by? That was by Gremick.
He jumped up to 5th.
I do like the nice sound of the Alpine car. I kind of admit that. And then we've got the other Aston of, who's that? Ali's just put a P4 as well. Ali showing some good pace on 7th lap old Inter, so that's on some ragged old Inters, and he's still pumping in some good times. Just under 5 minutes left as well, so plenty of time to come back in, chuck another set of Inters on if needs be, and then come out for 1 or 2 final laps. Lots of people in the pits then choosing just to wait a couple of minutes.
New and Mawson have just come in, so I wonder if they're now coming off of their full wet. I'd imagine that's the entire grid off of full wet tyres.
There or thereabouts, yeah, we'll have to wait and see when people actually go into their outlaps and what the timing thing is saying on the side. Zippy then goes a second faster, but still just on the cusp of
Shockley's in the wall. He's just broke his front wing, down in 20th at the moment, and he's going to have to get round into the pits and get going again.
Nearly gets beached. Luckily he's ghosted, so he doesn't have to worry about impeding, but yeah, not considering he's not even got a lap in. I mean, he was quite sketchy in Canada as well in terms of the laps, wasn't he? Because it took ages for him to finally set a lap, and he managed to end up qualifying P6, I believe, but he's having more troubles today. Lucky to still be in qualifying at least, by the looks of the damage he had.
Yeah, I was going to say, he could very easily caught his tyre when he spun it. He was at the top of the hill, he's gone off, he was off to the left, and just caught the wall there.
Right, who have we got on runs then? Is there anyone? We've got Brad is about to start then, but yeah, he's got 3 minutes left. It's not his final run, unless he's fueled up for that, but it doesn't look like it based on the indications on the screen. Or when he validates already, so good thing he's not fueled up for one, because otherwise that would be him done and dusted. So Bradders will have to go again on those Inters. Oh, he's still on the wet. Oh no, he is, yeah, he is on the Inters. Just showing wets on the graphic, but he is on the Inters.
I think that's because that's what he set his time on, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Laurie's in the pits as well. Ooh, he's going to cut that fine, to be fair. By the time his cars come out, he'll have time for one more lap, just about.
Nitro's jumped up to P4 as well.
So this is what's interesting. You've got watching people in the wet. You get these weird grids where you get people that you don't necessarily expect to be towards the front, just chuck a time in and show that they're little sweats in the rain. But Quinton, P9, wiggling around, starting what could be his final run, unless he does back-to-back runs here, if he messes this one up, but we'll go on board with him and see what he can do. Oh, invalidates immediately.
Yeah.
So again, same as Brad is, he has to come around again and then come back for another push lap, because otherwise that's him finished.
A couple of people leaving the pits now, still got time to get round for them.
So Lucas Champion and Bradders then come around to do their run. We're going board with Bradders just as people, hopefully he doesn't get impeded there. Obviously you've got a couple of people coming out of the garage. So we've had, very close there. Bradders then up the hill. What's the sector one time? Looking like half a second up for Bradders. Needs the time really, because he's down in 15th currently, so half a second won't move him up massively. I mean, that's going to move him up to what, 2 positions? That's still going to leave him in the 14s.
You'd imagine though, sort of the rest of sector 2 and sector 3 is more where you're going to gain the time for the traction.
Yeah, because that's actual turns.
Being on the so that guy's quite a bit of a moment at turn 4.
I still think it'd be up, but yeah, maybe lost a couple of tenths there. Roundy comes around to see what he does in sector 2 then. What's the delta looking like now? 1 second up.
Finding a second.
So again, that's going to put him right there though, isn't it? That's going to put him around Nitro and Ali then, around that top 5 mark, whether he can find a couple of tenths around the final 2 corners and doesn't get impeded hopefully, which he doesn't. Can he keep it valid as well? That's the most important thing. He does just about. burns the rest of his ERS, then where can he go? Puts it
Second.
P2, yeah, finds another 7/10 in the final sector. Great time from Bradders.
Lucas Champion. Oh, actually, no, that's not a lap he's finishing.
Here comes Harshman then to the line. Harshman puts it P3 with a 13-1 as well. On the wet, oh no, that is on the inters, yeah. Oh, it's just flicked up on the inters. Kookaburra goes to start his final run as well. Ali starting his final run. Got Aston coming to the line. That's Ali as well. Is that Ali starting his run? Ali just starting his final run as well. We've got, is that Chesney coming around to the final corner? Oh, he's just starting, so these are the drivers. Is he just going to make it? Oh, he's going to be the last car to cross the line then. So we cut to, who's that going to be? It's Quinton then. Your first man on this final run of laps as well. So there's the checkered flag. Chucks into the final corner. Where's Quinton going to slot in? Currently 11th with a 13.8. Puts it P3 with a 12.9. Who's next up? Got Gremick coming around the final corner. Can Gremick find any improvement? He doesn't know, doesn't improve. K1 behind, 11.9 for K1 behind. Who else have we got?
Chocolate's kept it valid. He's heading into the last two corners. I think there's been Murphy in front of him.
Lucas Champion.
So that's first.
Lucas Champion goes P2 with a 12.8. Look at that gap though between the front two currently. Kookaburra then improves up to P3 as well, 12.8. Chocolate with only one lap then, 13.2 goes, it slots in P8. Who else have we got finalising their runs?
CT
Ali as well has just lagged down.
But it's massively down.
Yeah. And a Chesney on his run.
Then last car to cross the line.
Or is he going to keep it valid? He does just about. Can he move up the order at all? He does, puts it P10. I'll quickly invite Ali as a swim lag out as well. Oh wow, K1 really putting a marker down.
I've invited Castell as well, he's another one who dropped out, so it's painful quality for him and Troy especially down there. So he never got a lap in on the inters either.
That's quite frustrating. Oh, apparently Quinton may have blocked on in quali as well, so that's interesting if that gets drawn back at some point. Hopefully we see the quali order, hopefully the game doesn't glitch out and fail to give it to us, because I'd like to see the quali order.
I've got it in front of me, so yeah, obviously K1 on pole, Lucas in P2, Kookaburra third, Bradders fourth, Quinton in fifth as a reserve coming in and qualifying up there. Harshman sixth, Snoog seventh, Laurie in eighth, Chocolade ninth, and then Chesney rounding out the top 10. And then probably Turbo, one of your surprise ones, down 11th, never got a time in the inters. Then as well as further down was, like I said, Constello, Troy, and just one more I missed who'd never set a lap on the inters.
And he's just in, luckily. So he'll make it just about be able to change his setup or alter with fuel, etc. strategy just in case he wants to. But yeah, oh, what a time from K1 there, fair play. We've said before he looks good in the rain, and he's shown it today. Hopefully we can see the final classifications as well. Quinton saying how, yeah. I mean, it's great time from K1. It'd just be interesting to see what his race pace is like, because you have seen in the past that things don't always go K1's way in the races itself. So
yeah, I think we always see very strong race pace from him, but it's just the consistency.
The odd mistakes, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, he always seemed to...
China was his win. Yeah, China was K1's win, and then it just seemingly just fell out of his hands. So hopefully he can, for his sake, hopefully he can get across the line and just, lead from start to finish. CT3 said he's forgot to remove some fuel, so hopefully gets on alright there. But here come the lights then, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And here we go then for the Austrian Grand Prix. All CT's, I don't know if he's decent, but I think this always happens in Austria, but K1 leads them down to turn 1. Jumps ahead of the two Ferraris, has to go off track though. Ferrari pinches him on the entry, looking like he's taking the lead then. Kookaburra's going for a run down the outside as well on the two Ferraris. It's going to get very tasty at the top of the hill. Both Ferraris get very close and both Houses behind, so a contact between Kookaburra and the Ferraris. Kookaburra falls off track. Oh, a bit of a wiggle moment then from Kookaburra as well. And it looks like he's letting...
Quinton's dropping down the order.
Is he fully round? Looks like
he must have had a moment. He's got going again, but he's dropped all the way down to 17th after a strong quality from him.
Look at, you've got some strong constructors fighting going up here as well. Because, I mean, unfortunately for K1, his teammate's down in 19th. But you've got both Ferraris. You've got
a huge collision. There's a salvage sent towards the wall at the back. It's lippy massively.
Oh, he's going to cut the whole corner. You might get 10 seconds for that. Oh, and luckily gets away. Let's cut back to the back and see what's occurring around here. You've got Turbo all the way down in 15th, and so really in the pits at the moment, struggling to cut back through the field. Same with Troy. So there's a lot of cars to watch across the grid because you've got several drivers who you'd expect to be further up.
Ali's retired.
Is he retired?
On the track. I wonder if he's quit trying to get control of his car. Retired his car.
I see. We're keeping on the chat to see what happens with them. Yeah, Clipsy said the lobby's glitched. Oh yeah, he's literally just at me. Yeah, it's pain. Yeah, I remember this happened. I think this happened in either the tier 2 race or the tier 3 race, where the order immediately just goes crazy. But luckily it's sorted itself out, so we're back to normal. CT3 is not leading the race, but it was K1. Although he's not running away with it, Ferrari's sticking right next to him, keeping him honest. I quickly break the news to Ali as well. That is he has been retired
for moving to turn 5. Seeing if he can make it stick at the inside of Troy. I think there's slight contact between them as they're trying to keep the side by side into turn 6, but he got through as Troy backs out.
Snooze right in the back of the two Ferraris as well, looking to push up the order as well. K1 already getting the 3-second penalty though, yeah. Very close fighting still though. No real break in the train at all. I mean, Laurie as well getting the 3-second. The closest break is probably then that top 10 mark is probably whether Constella can quickly... Already, yeah. K1 struggling with the limits.
K1's on the wets, that's why.
So he's gone. Oh, so he's gone
on the wet.
He's gone for the long game then, hasn't he? Yeah. So he's hoping that this interspace really dries off quick, but gets wetter quick to the point that everyone... I mean, I just don't buy that because surely his tyres are going to be overheating. By the time it gets to the wet part of the race, his tyres are going to be cooked and he's going to have to pit.
Yeah,
not
the strategy I would have gone for. See how it works for him. I mean, you know, he could prove us wrong, but for me, like you say, I feel like you can overheat the tyres before it even gets to the point where wet's becoming the best tyre. But he's doing well enough just to stick with them at the moment.
Going up the inside the penultimate corner there on the Ferrari. Gets it done, to be fair. And then through goes K1. Snoo made the move up ahead. He's off the track though. K1 just doesn't have the bite on exits, does he? Up against the Inters, they're just
hold that one there.
Kookaburra's looking for a move as well. And just in terms of traction, they collided. Tried to go side by side through the first corner.
More than Harshman's when you get involved as well. Harshman gains a whole load of positions out of that.
Massive scrap. Oh, hopefully no one dies it. K1 making an almighty dive up at the top of the hill. Contact between several drivers, but they somehow will survive for now anyway. Instead of getting involved, and Kookaburra's been hit onto the grass as well. Chocolat's then trying to defend up ahead as well. Harshman's already up into 4th as well, so the American making good progress through the field. I'll quickly look at position gains as well so we can get a gist on that. Obviously your big loser is that man on the wet tyres, K1. The only man on the wet tyres, down 6 positions. Kookaburra, after all that has happened, as well, down 5 positions. Your big winners though, Mawson, Snoo, and there's a car in the wall.
Someone's in the wall. That's Chocolate.
I was just about to say
damage, surely. He's he's certainly the right end plate. I think that's all the damage he's got. I'm surprised he hit that wall with some speed.
I thought he was out. Yeah, I'm actually
he's
shocked.
Immediately going to come into the box, I think.
Can't stop his car, unfortunately. We nearly collects Lippy as well, but Chocolate then into the pits. Hopefully he doesn't retire. Still plenty of the race to go. Turbo gets a 10-second, but I mean that's going to be painful because he's not going to be able to get rid of that after the race. He's going to have to serve that in the box. So that's just some dodgy illegal overtake, I assume, and it's really going to come back and bite him. Up at turn 3.
Huge contact.
Oh my god.
The hero. That's K1 getting sandwiched from both sides.
Turbo getting hit as well from, who was that? I think that was Quinton coming through, just literally no disregard for human life on the outside. And just clashed into him. But it's K1.
Quinton's gone for another dive as well into turn 4. He's got quite a few people now, I've seen, working his way back through the order after his early moment.
Or contact between Turbo as well and Camper, and Turbo's getting stuck in, makes contact there with, who was that, with Troy actually. Two of them tried to go side by side through sector 2, and they both lost a bit of ground as well. But yeah, that it's that point between Harshman and K1, it's that break point. That K1 is literally just waiting for the rain.
K1's gone off as well into the penultimate corner.
He's got another 3-second penalty. Yeah, he just hasn't got the traction. It's been a complete strategy disaster class, I can't lie.
I mean, look at the gap forming. It's 2 seconds now back to Harshman.
Yeah.
Obviously in the wet there's no DRS, but you know, you're still losing the benefit of the slipstream.
Yeah, literally. It's just a case now of seeing how quickly, I mean, yeah, it looks like Constella's already up 10 positions as well. I didn't realise how low Constella qualified. But all contact between him and K1. K1 stays on the track, but that's another position down.
Yeah, so I believe Constella disconnected before the final set of laps, so he never got his time in on the inters. And naturally everyone then just jumps you. K1's trying to send it around the outside of turn 4, but again, he's just not ready to make it stick in these tyres.
Yeah, so he just hasn't got the bite point, has he? Yeah. He's really just praying now. I mean, it's rain, well, supposedly the rain intensifies for the second 2 segments after, so there's obviously 3 weather segments in the race. First one is this intercondition, then the next 2 will transfer to full wet, so it just depends on when that is. You'd imagine that's anywhere onwards from around, I mean, lap 12 then, if you're doing it according to, you know, sheer thirds. But just in terms of the game, I can't imagine it's going to be anywhere near that, really. I can imagine, if anything, it's going to be closer to around, what, lap 20 maybe, that there's going to be a transition in conditions. As Harshman off track there, losing touch a bit with Mawson, who's a bit distant from the front here as well. It's the 2 Ferraris up against Sanu at the moment for the win. They've got a 2.4 second gap back to Mawson, so this seems to be the scrap to watch at the moment.
Okay, what is the scrap at the top of the hill everywhere where you look?
Yeah. Chocolate there, yeah. I wonder what tyres does Chocolate go on to. Oh, it's another 7.
He's just set the fastest lap.
Oh, contact as well from Quinton, who went for a dive bomb into the back of K1, and the Aston of Laurie as well. Completely misses breaking point. Lucky he hasn't fully spun.
Tried to get it fast as well.
Ghosted.
Yeah, I was going to say ghosted into each other.
Hopefully no one gets spun off, that'd be a shame. Obviously you don't know what can happen in terms of ghosting. Yeah, they both survived for now. Oh, they're not ghosting, lads.
Slight contact between the pair, but Laurie's backing out now.
Oh, Quinton having to massively take the escape right off that. So Turbo slide up the inside as well, so Turbo up to 10 positions as Laurie picks up. Is that his second? 3-second penalty? I think it is, isn't it?
I think that's his second, and K1 went off as well in the final corner, so that could be another warning for him. They're just adding up.
Stacking them. Considering these are the, I mean, I know the conditions depend on what you want to say, but technically you'd imagine that the interconditions are the easiest part of the race. I know you're pushing them all because you can, but the wets is where you're going to struggle just to actually control the car itself. As Quinton goes for a dive bomb at turn 3 on K1, contact again between the pair, but through goes Quinton. Then he takes that top 10 spot off the pole position sitter.
Sanu for the lead as well into turn 4, and then the Sanu gets through Lucas Champion.
Both right. This is going to get very interesting because Mawson's, I mean, he got a bit, maybe the gap's kind of stayed around the same. Oh, it got smaller. It might have got smaller actually. I think it might have been 2 seconds or something.
Quinton's almost round. Contact from behind it from Chesney that one. Quite a moment, but recovers it. They're ghosting inside of each other.
Oh, what a flick through. It's too much to watch. Alex in the chat asked so the weather's going to get worse. So their weather is, if you're doing on the segments, it's wet, very wet, very wet. So it is due to, at some point, maybe switch to the wets. That's why K1 started on the full wets, because he's imagined that the inter stint at the start wasn't going to last long at all, and that's completely come back to bite him in the ass.
This problem that you have, because even in the full wet conditions, halfway through it gets into conditions regardless.
Yeah.
So
I just don't understand what I remember.
See what happens.
Shocker did this a couple of seasons ago at Silverstone, I remember. And contact there between Camper and Troy, but yeah, by the time it even gets the wets, his wets are going to be one, heavily worn, and 2, overheating because he's driving around. Oh, Quinton goes for a massive dive bomb. K1 with a little switchback. But he hasn't got the bite though. He's not got that actual traction to get through. He's having to use all his ERS. Shooting around the outside. Contact between the pair again. But K1 gets through. Laurie gets another 3-second penalty.
This is the problem for him because K1 as well, so what he's up to, it's now 6 seconds of penalties. And he's almost, he's gone flying off again at the penultimate corner.
Him and Quinton, yeah. Quinton looked like he was making a move into the penultimate corner. He really has to calm down because his moves are... Oh, and again, he's just completely moving into Chesney's path and completely wiped him out. Really aggressive drive from Quinton there. He's just zigzagging all over the track. And he's gone off again with K1.
Quinton's just getting frustrated being stuck behind, but
yeah,
then Troy, who's stayed patient, is the one who's snuck through.
Collected the pieces and eaten them all up, yeah.
Quinton's gone for another dive into the hill and almost, does make contact with Troy.
He's gone for a double overtake there at the top of the hill. He just needs to calm it down because he's going to cost people races here. Yeah, he's moving all over the place. He really has to calm it down because this is not the type of racing we really want to see because it's overly aggressive to the point it's going to, look at the gap that's opened up even more.
K1's forced into the gravel as well.
Wait, we've got a yellow flag up here. Laurie's gone round. Laurie's gone round up ahead of this. This is Laurie now fully sucked back into this, down into 14th.
It's a painful one, especially with these penalties. That's a chance to break away while they're all having a scrap and just try and make something of it.
CT3 trying to pick up the pieces as well with the Alpines. Going off track. A couple of 3-second penalties came in there as well. Oh, Quinton off track yet again. As he's off track again. There's twice in 2 corners there that he's went flying off, but yeah, Troy and Quinton managing to break away then. CT3 now leads this little pack. K1 after all that's gone all the way down to 15th position. That's just
into the pits, yeah.
Yeah, so he went into the pits because he got chucked into the wall by Quinton down the main straight.
Oh yeah, he needs the wing change.
Yeah.
And he's going to another set of inches.
Which honestly is probably the right call. I think it's not quite dry enough yet. Quite wet enough to make that move up to the full wet compounds.
I think you're seeing at this point as well, so K1's now 19 seconds off the lead with 6 seconds of penalty, so he's essentially a pit stop off the leaders, so even if he doesn't have to stop, they're still going to probably come out front again.
With
and at
15 lap holds.
He's put the most wear on his tyres, yeah, because he would have burnt through them.
Yeah, so even if he does get track position, the actual gain he's going to have is going to be minuscule, because they're going to fly past him just in terms of tyre life.
So I think he's going to have to box at a similar time.
Paul saying what happened to the Chesney 2 seasons ago. To be fair, he got chucked in the wall, so we'll let him off. He was violated. Alright, what else scrapping have we got? A couple of gaps opening up through the field. The Red Bulls have cut through the order, cut through all that chaos then to make it 7th and 8th comfortably within the points with a nice cushion behind them. 3.7 seconds back to Troy, but Constella's got a 4-second window between him and between him and his teammates. So
problem is as well, it's like you say, they've got the nice cushion behind, but that's Turbo now with the 10-second penalty is going to have to serve at some point. So before you know it, that cushion's going to completely go. Yeah.
Oh, we've got a couple of moves floating about the order at the top of the hill then. More chaos, I assume.
Zippy's going to try the full wets then.
Alright, so this is going to be interesting. So Zippy's the guinea pig to see what the conditions are like. Oh, K1 still. Look at K1 though. This is painful to watch. I know there was a collision involved with Quinton, but he's all the way. He's in a fight for 13th place at highest right now, and with all these penalties he's got. Or as Laurie and him both get caught on the curb. Laurie off again. That would be another warning that would have been added to his tally. Yeah, Quinton's fully adrift now. Troy 1.4 seconds, which caught a bit up there to be fair, but the closest fight we've really got, apart from that fight between Laurie, K1 and Gremick, is actually the fight up front. Everyone's staying very in order. CT3's lagged out of the session, I believe.
Laurie's into the pits as well.
So I wonder if drivers
he's going to be next to go for the wets.
Is it the crossover? Yeah.
Yeah, full wet tyres have gone on.
Yeah, I think at this point.
Opting for the change.
I think if you're that far at the back as well, I think at that point you're you're just gambling on it at that point, and you're just thinking, you know, why not? You may as well just chuck them on. Alex saying that K1's gaining a lot. It's painful because even if it has gone to full wets, oh, CT3 needs an invite. I mean, you should just be able to join off the PS1 but I'll chuck you one, my sir. But yeah,
this few of the 3 second penalty after changing to the wet phase.
So yeah, Alex in the chat said that K1's he's making a bit of time, but even if he's making the time, I mean, it's just what Reece said earlier. The tyre wear is just not going to be on his side at all. So he could have the track position, but by the time, you know, everyone around him pits the wets as well, he's still going to be, you know, the guy up the open
place edging the pit lane and speeding into the pits. He couldn't get it back under control, and he's sort of
retired.
Yeah, he's retired. Well, not that's because of the 10-second penalty, but he's completely losing control of the car on the grass and couldn't stop the thing.
Very scruffy race from him. Obviously made a couple of bold, some may say stupid moves a little bit. So we'll have to see if anything comes back to the stewards room. I imagine Chesney will probably try and report him for his movement across the track that has ended up resulting in Chesney all the way down massively off the back of the pack. So he's joined just as all this is happening, coming out of the
for wet. So I hope for his sake he wanted to box.
To be fair, yeah, that's at least kept him in line with the cars just around him. Obviously, Laurie's just up the road from him on wets, just pitted, same as Nitro. And the Chesney's around as though on the into, which is really going to screw him. I think the damage from him came those couple of laps too early, really, because he probably still felt like he needed to pit for the inters, but it's at this stage now. I think. I mean, I'll have to look at the gaps. I'll have to look at that delta between Laurie and Chocolata, because they're at similar pace route, I would say. So
I was going to say, I've just been watching the battle between K1 and Camper, I think seeing K1 on the back of him has decided to go in and go for the full wets, and it gave Gremic an opportunity as well, because K1 slowed down to make sure he didn't collide when he was falling over the pit.
Yeah, so that'd be wets going on for Campo, which it is, yeah. So I imagine it's now going to be Gremic in the next lap around if they're making some kind of pit strategy together in the team. As Camper, then where is he going to slot in this fight behind? Comes flying out of the pits. Just ahead of Nitro. I mean, Nitro may have a good run on him. Oh, we've got a spinner. It's Harshman. Harshman's round up front.
Harshman's round.
Has he got damage? Luckily, no damage, but he was like, where was he? He was like P5 or something like that. A CT3 then.
CT3's out. I assume that's trying to get control of his car. No one has been done leaving a second. So Lucas Champion's the first one to box up the Ferrari as Brothers keeps going, and again I assume a lot of the drivers opting to change to the wet tyres now.
It's that time, isn't it? Yeah. Just according to how the game works, you know, if it's in 3 segments, it's lap 12 onwards. So it has got to that point now where you're within those 2 last segments where it should be full wets, and it's proven to be the case.
I've just seen the comment about Alex saying where K1 is, but it's what we're saying. He's put too much wear on. He's diving into the pit comes out.
Yeah, even if he is in P2, yeah.
P2, P3, but yeah, this is it. He's pitting now, and before you know it, all he's done is losing half a century of pit stop to the leaders.
Yeah. Oh, snooze like that. I'll try and get him back in. I mean, his PlayStation should just be able to hop back in, but it's our race leader that's just like that, so that could be very painful. And it says I can't invite him. It says he's in the session.
Yeah, I think you have to do it through the game.
Yeah,
the one thing is, based on what we've seen, it will probably force him in for the wet tyres. So hopefully he won't lose too much time, because it will serve his pit stop for him.
Yeah, he's in the pits then.
Yeah.
So see what happens with Bradders. He's cut the pit lane, yeah. So that's caught in your bro's been caught in 4K. That will be a penalty coming Bradders' way, unfortunately. Snooze isn't, Snooze just in then, just in time to watch his car come into the pit. So hopefully he wanted that Troy nice and smooth within the pits. Harshman stays out. Lucas Champion, obviously on those new wets, stays out. Gremic chooses to stay out as well. We'll see what Chocolata does behind. It's got Laurie now all over the back of it on those inters. So Chocolata should really think about pitting, which he does. Oh, can he keep it slowed down? He does just about. Stays within the white lines as well. I'm nearly in the wall there, just as I cut away from him, into the grass. But Chocolata then finally in. Been a painful race for him. But sticking to it, which we love to see. Anything can happen.
So Turbo's taking the lead at the moment, but he is yet to pit.
16 lap holds Inters as well. Same with Harshman, same with Gremick, so I expect to see those three in over the next lap or two, really considering everyone else is on the wet. Oh, Snoo! I wonder if Snoo's has he tried to take control of his car as well as it's retired him?
It looked like he was back in control of his car, but if not, he's what? The third person who's been caught out by that.
That's bad. That's silly, because it's one of these things that should be so easy to understand. Yes, Turbo gets a 3 second wide at turn 1. He's got a 3 second. Yeah,
and Snoo's rejoining, and he's going to see that he's no longer in the race.
Your race leader then. So just in terms of net positions, it's migrating host.
Oh, you've lagged out.
Oh, everyone's lagging out, guys. Right, let me
fight you back.
Everyone's done. Get me back in.
Missing Camber and Chesney going side by side as Camber was forced off the track at turn 1 as I cut to it, but.
Right, hopefully I don't have to restart the app and then lose everything. So we'll try and get back in straight away, and then see what the current state of affairs is.
Lucky, it all seems to have calmed down from the start we had earlier on.
Right, get me in. It's painful that, like we said, this is a well-known bug within the game. Obviously, if you can't take control of your car, do not retire. Do not just leave the game because it won't. The session no longer exists. Oh, no.
I assume you might have to full reset it.
I'll try and get in through an EA one. If not, do you want to send me a quick one more and I'll see if I can get in from EA? If not, I'll have to unfortunately restart the stream. But we live and we learn.
See, Karshman, I mean, he's still trying to proceed with his inters, but he's got himself up to P4 now, as him and Mawson were going side by side at the top of the hill, but he's dropped down to another position for 5th. But pretty much everyone else has decided to go to the wet tyres at this point. I say that, there's still a few drivers on the inters just trying to force Summit and see if it works.
Right back in, lads. Get me in. Yeah, CT3 saying the same thing, so everyone like that. Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things. If you see everyone leaving the session, it's you that's like that. So just remember that for the future, because that'll save you bags of time. But back to it then.
Unfortunately, once you've done it, you don't forget it, but never quit the main menu when you're trying to get control of your car.
So this is the one. I mean, we've got a really interesting fight now opening for the lead. Mawson's really caught up in this stint, up to the two Ferraris.
Nitro back as well. Nitro is left to drop.
People at the internet is not liking the rain today. Yeah, there you go, Mr. Nitro. Where is Nitro? Nitro's sat. Oh, he's in 14th. But a couple of cars still on the inters as well. I mean, I've got Turbo on the screen to see.
Inters.
Oh, that's so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, unless he doesn't see. I mean, it just depends on how quickly the track dries up and goes more towards the inters again. But I don't see it really happening this soon. To be fair, if I'm.
There's a few that have done it though. Troy did it. Kookaburra did it. Just looking at the tyre selection now, there's quite a few of them who are trying this strategy.
Don't think it's worth it, really. Oh, Turbo! Turbo's all over the place at the front. I thought he was coming into the pits. It looked like he was going to do some massive drift, but he stays out onto lap 20 on these inters. Nitro said he cannot get back in. I'll try one more. Mr. Nitro.
It's interesting seeing Kookaburra behind these on the wet tyres to see if he can get the launch out the corners. He's certainly at least sticking with them. Turbo's in a very odd position though. I'm pretty sure the tyres wear too much to try get all the way to the end, but was that his aim? Because then he wouldn't serve his 10-second penalty.
Honestly, yeah, that could make sense. I keep on board with Turbo to see what he does, but this 10-second penalty, if he does, I mean, I'll just look at the gap to the leaders. So just on the penalty, I mean, where's that going to put him? You'd imagine he's going to be around K1 then. He's going to be around the cusp of the top 10, really, isn't he? Once he serves it, and he comes into the pits then. So this is Turbo's time to shine into the box. Keeps it within the limits as well. It's nice to see. Oh! I thought he was going to be in the wall then.
I've seen quite a few drivers struggle with just getting in and around the pit lane.
Yeah, obviously, Quinton, when he came into retire, was flying around the place. But yeah, even with, unfortunately, yeah, Turbo's really going to drop out of the equation, but this fight at the front could get very, very interesting. You've effectively got a 5-car fight for the win. Unfortunately, Kookaburra might be a bit out of it because of his penalty, but Kookaburra's looking for a move then on Mawson on the Inters.
I was going to say, the one thing that might bring back to it, if it's into conditions, that could be his wild card to try and pull the gap if he can get through. He can just make 2 more moves, get himself in the lead, and then look to build the gap. Maybe he's just got something up his sleeve to break away.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with Mawson, whether he starts to drop off, but yeah, still a very close top 5. Constella's really brought himself back into the equation here. Gremick's still out. I mean, Gremick is known for doing these. Is it Gremick or is it Camp? I can't remember. One of the Italians.
It was always Gremick who always used to go no stop, I believe.
Bro backs the 0 stop, which is quite concerning. I tried one more invite for Nitro, but I don't think he's going to get back in. Which is a shame to lose a driver just because of a technical glitch. Yeah, Mawson's dropped off. I mean, to be fair, he's still right there, but he's dropped off a little bit, lost 0.2 or so.
I think Kookaburra is on the right strategy here.
Oh, yellow flag. Is that Harshman?
No.
Yeah, isn't he? I think it was. Based on his dot on the map.
I don't think it was. Was it? I'm trying to jump to see what it is.
Might have been Nitro's AI? No, I don't. Look how close things are coming out of turn 3 as well at the front. Mawson right on the back of Kookaburra now, going for a little push to see if he can keep these wet tyres alive. I have to settle that, just settle down, back into the fight. I'll try one more time for Mr. Nitro. This is looking like a very, very good race for the Ferrari boys. Obviously, after the first 2 rounds, I can quickly bring up the constructors just so we get a little bigger picture on how things are looking. We've got Red Bull on top coming into this race on 48, and currently they are sat P5 and then Turbo down at 11th. Alpine then second again. They're having a bit of a mixed race. Gremick yet to pit though, so you're waiting to see what happens with Gremick. He's got fresh tyres behind him, so it's looking like a painful afternoon potentially for him as well. And then Gremick, then Camper down in 12th. McLaren as well, after obviously Chocolade, was it Chocolade reserved for them I think, and obviously brought home a big result, so slightly distorted perhaps, but K1 looking good in this race. It slightly fell apart, and then that's when you have Williams, who looked like they're having a good race with Mawson. Chocolade unfortunately went into a wall early on and hasn't really been able to show what he can do, and then that's when you have Ferrari then 28 points off the top, currently sat P5, but a massive points all coming for them if they can just stay anywhere in this run.
As well.
And then
I wonder if their 1-2 will get broken up here. Kookaburra is right on them, and interestingly, when you're looking at that, the one thing that pops up is Turbo Snell has set the fastest lap, and that is on the inter tyre.
Right, yeah. So if that's the case, this wet stint supposedly only lasted not even 10 laps, maybe just about 10 laps, not long at all. When you look at the whole race in terms of how much of it was actually meant to be full wet conditions. It's not even been a third of the race being full wet because it's been an inter-start for everyone but K1, and then a brief stint on the wets, but then a return to the inter, which realistically I think is just all about being on the right side at the right time, even if it does involve doing another pit stop. Or just as I say that though, Bradders with a little wiggle coming out of turn 1. I think Lucas Champion's going to have a move. The one thing they don't want to do is scrap all collide and then let Kookaburra slide in through the middle, which is exactly what they've done.
Oh, huge moment on the X as well. I thought it was going to head to the wall. They're still going to go side by side towards turn 4.
Look at Kookaburra, here he comes.
He's going to go around the outside then.
Oh, it's ran out of room.
To make it stick, have they?
Mawson's taken advantage as well. Through goes Mawson then, yeah.
Through.
And Costella's licking his lips behind, seeing if he can eye up anything and slot in within that front 4. 14-second gap between the front 5 and then Gremic as well, so this is your top 5 then.
Oh, there's contact there. I think that was Mawson. Sorry, Kookaburra went in the back of Mawson and then Costella went into the back of Kookaburra as a result.
Yeah.
Instead of get through. He's got a huge ERS advantage on him as well, Costella.
So he's just been sat there, hasn't he? Just all contact between the final 2. They've lost a slight touch of the train. Kookaburra a bit layer on the throttle around the final corner. Kookaburra seeked an advantage and he just caught Costella's rear tyre. Haven't lost too much time though, only they're 1.3 seconds behind, but that's not the end of the world really. They can try and tow each other back to join that front 3, but quickly have a look at position gains and stuff, because yeah, Constella at 13 position, same with Troy at 12 positions, use that. Oh, just as I say that, where's Gremic pitted? Where is
Gremic's still trying to hold off. He's down in 10th.
He's just lost a bit of time, yeah, because last time we saw him, obviously, he was up in 6th. He's really just...
I cut to him, he was massively far off the track at the final couple of corners. He's really struggling at this point.
So it is, yeah, your 2 big winners then, well, I'd say 3 really. It's within the top 6, you've got Troy up 12, Constella up 13, Mawson up 9. Even Gremic's up 6, but obviously that's without a pit stop, so I imagine... If you look at Turbo, he's on good pace behind, 2.3 as well away from the Alpine. So you imagine Turbo will have that position as well, and then it's his teammate next up. So team orders then at play, I assume.
Morse has a bit of a moment on the curve at the final corner. I wonder if he's going to get close enough to look at the inside of they got to the top of the hill, but I think he's going to drop too far back. But as I say, that Lucas Champion's dropped back a couple of positions on mine. He's
is he lagged out? I wonder if he's just lagged out of the session. That's going to be incredibly painful if he has, but he's it's definitely an AI car for him.
He was ahead of Brothers, so he just got through, so...
I see what happens once Kookaburra's cleared. Does his car go solid again?
Yeah, it's gone solid.
Oh, wow. So out of nowhere, I don't even know what's happened there, but yeah, Lucas Champion has fully lagged all the way down from the lead down to P5. Wow. And then he's not even, it's not just that, but he's in that break of the chain of the pack as well, because Constella still hasn't been able to really reel Mawson back in. It's still sat just above that 1 second window.
Mawson's now suddenly the one who's up at 80% ERS and looking all over the back of Brothers. It could get interesting at the hill.
And you've obviously got Lucas Champion in 5th now, probably very frustrated at the way that that's just happened, wanting to then fly up back at least into the top 3. Who else have we got? Oh, we've got fighting further, but I'll quickly go and watch Gremic versus Turbo.
Yeah, getting through Gremic. Can't imagine much of a fight's being put there. Gremic realises.
I wonder if Lucas Champion had a moment.
Go for a move for the lead then up at turn 3. So they try and go side by side, and I don't think he can make it work.
No. I wonder if Lucas Champion lagged because he had a moment instead. Because he was sideways again, lost a bit more time through turn 1 on that lap as well, so I'm interested.
When I cut to him, it didn't look like he had done anything, so it was complete desync.
I'm interested to see what he says after it, because if it's just purely desync, that's going to be incredibly painful. That if he's just suddenly dropped out of nowhere. You've got a bit of action further back as Laurie sends it on Harshman at the bottom of the hill. All contact between the pair.
Squeezed out, yeah. And he's going to let K1 through as well.
Harshman's going to try and stick with it.
Yeah, I was going to say he might try it at the inside, but he's somewhat backing off. He has a moment on the curve.
Lucky he doesn't catch K1's rear left there as well, but K1 keeps the position for now anyway, but Harshman's had a good run out of the left-right. Thinks better of sending an assault down into the final 2 right-handers though. So back to the front we go. Things are
One
incredibly
thing to say,
close.
being on board with Harshman, that is he's low on fuel.
Yeah, obviously,
Batting at the top again, at the top of the hill, and it's let everyone else back in on the train. But so Williams and Mawson now with the lead, but everyone's grouped back together. It's the front five again.
Wow. Brothers then goes for another move on Mawson. They just don't want to get involved in any scraps here because, you know, it's a definitive top five here. Mawson then trying to hang it, stay in the lead. Oh, the pair brush wheels. Brothers gets a bit sideways. Mawson then holds the lead for now. Contact between, again, Kookaburra just catches the back end. Oh, it nearly goes out of track limits there. Constello all over him as they go through the final sector as well. 7 laps left of racing as well. Anyone's
Troy
win.
behind though, he's caught in a lot of no man's sort of land here and down the 6 to the point where almost does just let them stuff out to the end here.
Yeah. Well, he knows if he can slowly maybe eke the gap down to around 10 seconds or something, if there is a collision at the top, he might be able to nick a couple of positions.
Yeah.
Even if it's a post-race penalty if someone gets a 10 second for a collision. Not that I want a collision to happen, but...
Spiders is through before they even get to the top of the hill this time. Lucas Champion trying to get on Costello, they make contact, but Costello's the one who's able to hold it with the outside line. Although I don't think this is done yet, as they're going to go into turn 4 side by side.
Yeah, both draining their ERSs. Bredes then makes the move up ahead, so double Ferrari move down at turn 4. Can he make it stick? Look, I wonder if Costello was just going to try and hang it around. He doesn't then. A bit of lag there, but down to P5 then for Costello yet again. But they're still with the train, so onwards we go into the next lap. Front 3 literally knows. Mawson gets a 3-second penalty in amongst all this. One. Wow. So after all this, I mean, I don't know if anyone's going to try and get a 3-second removed because they've been pushed off or something. But at the moment, then the provisional podium will be Brothers to win, Lucas Champion second, despite his current track position, and then Costello will be on the podium.
Brothers is showing 2 warnings though from lap 5. So I'm seeing if they were both track limits, which they are. So he's only got 1 warning left. Do you know what?
Fair play, managing to keep on 2 for that many laps. That's dedication. Kookaburra then goes for a move around the outside of Mawson. Obviously he's smelling blood now, knowing that he's on the same amount of penalties as him. So this is full position between the two of them in the final race classification.
Lucas Champion is another one on 2 warnings. I wonder how many Costello's on, because he could just win this off of penalties how it's going.
Do you know
1 warning himself, so he's the one with a bit more breathing room.
Do you know the one thing I just remembered as well? Brothers is going to get a penalty for cutting the pit entry.
Oh, of course, and that's 3-second penalty, isn't it?
So the front 3 all on the exact same boat.
It stands.
Wow. Yeah, Paul in the chat said
if in the gravel.
Oh, and he was on a mission. Man on a mission. Still in P8 though.
Not that much time, but yeah, I wonder if he's trying to fight harsh and just couldn't get round.
K1 gets 3-second. Nitro needs to. I mean, I know there's no. I mean, it's just an AI. I was going to say he needs to get out of the way, but yeah, that is his AI. So through the leaders go. Kookaburra gets another 3 seconds.
That takes him out the fight then.
Yeah, that's painful. So that's probably going to be P5 then. For the South African, he's probably going to have to settle for that. Still a solid result, but frustrating when you're in that scrap for the win, unfortunately, and then you know that it's effectively just falling away because of penalties rather than the actual final position that you're in. Yellow flag for the back.
Chocolada retired.
Safety car
very late on. That's going to mix things up massively for those with the penalties then. Suddenly freeing up that 6-second penalty for Kookaburra is even more painful.
Oh, he's gone from a guaranteed top 5 to, I mean, I just said it, it's a guaranteed top 5 now, to then the question of, does he even get points?
I think as you look down, there's so many penalties further down, he might still land.
Chesney with the drive for Chesney. Oh my god, I've just seen that Grimmick has done 31 laps on the Inters. Oh, but Bro does not know what a pit lane is. Grimmick, please pit. Shock lad.
That's a painful one for Chesney. He would be praying for the chance of a safety car just to try and get back involved somehow, and he's then gone and blown it.
Oh no. I wonder if anyone pits. There is someone pitting. Who's pitted? Constello is in. So Constello has decided that the Inters will be the better tyre to end on.
Well, Castelli was the man already in fifth, I believe, wasn't he? So
he had the gap,
he
yeah.
probably won't drop the position to Troy. If Troy stays out...
Harshman stays out, Turbo stays out. Laurie comes in then. Well, apparently Chocolade has had a collision with... I'm assuming that's Chesney. He said a V-carb, so...
Ooh.
Considering he's down there.
Gremix is finally pushing them, unsurprisingly. I'm sure he'll be relieved to get off of these tyres. There's going to be a double stack at Alpine, but again, they've especially Chesney having a drive between there,
Oh, so Chocolade went into the wall early on because of a V-carb, so that'd be interesting to see if that ends up going to the stewards. That's what effectively ruined Chocolade's race from the outset. Brad was talking about his penalty as well. Unfortunately, it depends, regardless of the conditions, or Chesney retires. Is that in the pits, or is that on track? What's he done? Yeah, it's in the pits. Yeah,
he's just giving it a call. It's harsh, gets a 3-second penalty on the safety car.
That's painful. Yeah, unfortunately, even if it doesn't matter on the conditions. If you cut the pit lane, it's just in our rules. It's written in the rules that if you cut the pit lane, that's that will be a. We'll have a look at the footage after, but I'm pretty sure we had it on stream when it happened.
The front two are into the pits now. They've gone too late really thinking to do this, so that's Bradders and Mawson have decided to call it right at the end. They're going to drop probably down to, what, about ninth?
I wonder if they're AI, because Bradders is talking in the chat. I wonder if his AI is pitted for him.
And I think that's for wet tyres as well. Yeah, Mawson's on the wets.
K1's got a penalty.
Turbo. One thing is that won't get surged before the end, so if nothing...
Yeah, it's got damage. Oh.
Yeah, so he's probably going to have to serve that.
Oh my god, yeah, Bradders was in AI. Bradders was in AI and it's pitted his car.
Yeah, I wonder if Mawson's been done with the same thing. Nitro's trying to get back in again. I don't know if you want to send him an invite or if he's...
Yeah, I can try, but... I think you'll still get classified, but...
We'll have to double check that if points.
Okay, there you
go. The car's actually a lap down, so if you get back in, you're going to have to pull out the way of everyone.
Yeah, Bradders has literally just came back in the sim where he is. Safety car in this lap, and he's been pitted. Him and Mawson. I mean, yeah, look. So Bradders at least has gone on to Inters. Mawson's... Oh, there's no collision there.
Mawson's side a lot. I don't know what's happened. Harshman losing the position, he takes it back.
Mawson's then, his AI, I'm assuming it's his AI that's pitted for him, and it's checked him on wets as well. I know they're fresh wets, but... Oh wow, this is going to be an interesting end to the race. Cooper not going very slow at all. I don't know if this... I think the pit lane, I think the game's going to cap him. He's very close to the safety car yet. He needs to go slower, because the game is going to limit him.
I think he might have done enough. He's trying to go, but we'll see if it's too early. Yeah, he gets away fine in the end.
Yeah, beautiful restart then. So it's just that penalty weighing over his head that he's trying to... Oh, it's Troy then. I wonder if that was an illegal... Who's done this? K1's retired in the pits, I assume that is. Yeah.
Yeah, he was still on to repair.
Oh, someone's in the wall behind. Bradders is in the wall.
It's gone really badly wrong for Bradders. It's painful to see after he got forced into a pit stop he did not want.
More moves up. Campus sends it. Oh, both Alpines. Laurie gets torpedoed off the track by that secondary Alpine who also went for the move at the top of the hill.
I don't know if Lucas Champion caught Costello sort of napping on the restart when they got away, but there's quite a bit of a gap behind already.
Oh, look at the grip that Harshman's got compared to Troy with just those 3 extra laps. Looking to go down the inside. Oh, there's going to be slight contact between them, but they survived. It's a second gap, so Cooker was trying to run away with it, but with that penalty, I just don't think anything's going to come from it, unfortunately. He might be able to keep a podium here if he's very lucky. I mean, it depends what happens in these last lap or so.
I was going to say, it all comes down to, if you think you can get 3 seconds off, then you never know. He'll still lose the lead because of it, but it might be enough to get a podium out of it. But if not, then not really much you can do.
Here we come then. Final lap of the race. All ended right at the very end of the race. It's all kicked off. 1 second gap between Kookaburra and Lucas Champion currently. Where's the scraps happening? You've got Laurie fighting with the Alpines as well. Down the inside he goes. There's kind of a half dedicated move really, and he looks like he's going to lose a bit of time on traction as well. Through he goes. Gremick going past Laurie, who will lose positions as well because of his penalty. Oh, slight contact between the pair. Again down at turn 4. Onto the gravel though goes Laurie, and Mawson goes through. But we cut more towards the front to see how things are picturing as you come around the final corners. It will be Kookaburra then, by the look of things, that's going to win it on track.
To win this though, Constella's right on the back of Lucas Champion Sunday, and like you say, obviously Kookaburra's got a bounty coming his way.
He's going to send it.
Lucas Champion's quite done enough into the penultimate corner.
Oh, he thinks about it.
Out and,
Lucas Champion gets the 3 second
penalty.
Oh wow.
That's Constella's victory suddenly.
Kookaburra wins in on track, but it's going to be Constella who wins in Austria. Post-race penalties. Troy moves all the way up to P3. Kookaburra slightly just misses out on the podium then by 0.3 of a second. Camper and Gremick somehow end up P5 and 6, despite Gremick going on a monster 31 lap stint. And then he ends in P6 just behind his teammate, 1/10 off. And then we'll have a quick look at the rest of the order to see where everyone's slotted in.
And you have to feel for Mawson and Bradders. They're the ones who really, got completely screwed by the safety car getting pitted there. And of course you have to go back to Snew as well, who once led this race.
Yes, and he was literally he was with the Ferraris. It looked more of a front 3 with Mawson off the back of them, making up the top 4. It looked like it was going to be Snew versus the Ferraris, and it's been a car that started 17th or something this race, wherever it was. Ended up going on to win this race. That's 2 wins from 3 then for Constella. Yeah, Mawson's just said in the chat his AI pitted him, yeah. So Mawson and Bradders' AI both pitted and completely ruined their chance of the win. That's one thing I'll always say. Obviously, it's perfectly allowed to go AI during the safety car, but I would always just at least keep an eye on your screen and just see what the game's doing. So, Constella up from 17th, Lucas Champion, and then Troy up from 18th as well to round out your podium. I'll quickly flick down the order and I'll see if we can catch anyone out quickly. If the stream ends, it's because I've got to race director, lads. I've got through the safety. We'll see if anyone's cut the pit lane, if anyone's got any penalties for cutting the pit lane. Obviously we've got a couple on stream, so we can go back and look at those.
Yeah. I think I saw one in there, although that might have been speeding in the pit
It was
lane.
a speeding, yeah.
Yeah.
But wow, that was a race that slowly unravelled for several drivers, and it was a very interesting end. Yeah, Snoo saying he disconnected there, it's a shame. So I guess it's a tough learning curve for people when it comes to leaving the session. Sometimes it can just kick you out when you're if you just decide to leave it. It'll obviously retire your car. So yeah, in the future, if anyone's listening and they disconnect, just close your application. Do not exit the session because it will just retire you. But wow, what a way to end that race. And now on to tier 1, where it's due even more chaos because we've got a sprint. So
it's wet conditions in that as well to start things off. But like I said, the main race back's dry for us, fortunately. Yeah.
Full wet sprint. So that'd be interesting. I think it's 12 laps of sprint conditions, sprint wet conditions, before a cloudy, light cloud race. So we'll have to see how that goes. Obviously, if you want to stick around for that, that's in 45 minutes of Mr. Wildstorm on Commons for you. But as for next week, here in Tier 2, we've got a sprint now.
I believe it is.
Yeah. So we'll
and I had a quick look at the weather earlier, and there could be some more rain next week.
Oh no, I'll have a quick look. Catalonia weather. Where is the rain? What is the rain saying for next week? Next week, obviously, it'll come from Tuesday, and there may be a bit of rain about. So at the moment, if I took the weather from today, it would be full wet one shot. Well, for the shootout, it would be a full wet sprint, maybe a full wet race quali, and then there's dry portions on the Friday, but it looks like it could be a washout again here in Tier 2. So
yeah, it's obviously got all week just to keep changing, but
yeah, something. Obviously, drivers, yeah, you're perfectly legal. It's perfectly legal to go and have a little look and see what the weather's doing. Just have a look through the week. Obviously, that gets posted on Tuesday anyway for those that are unaware. But yeah, on to Tier 1 now. Then, yeah, well, we've got the sprint to do here in Austria before we move on to Spain. So yeah, if you're interested in watching that, please feel free to stick around. And if not, we will see you here in Tier 2 next Friday. Goodbye.